Hello, this is Mr. Fay. I want to talk to you quickly about using a light microscope. This is a skill that you probably picked up last year in 7th grade, but I want to refresh you on this because you'll be using a light microscope next week when you take the New York State assessment. If you take a look at the screen to the left, you'll notice that there's a nice little diagram of a microscope, and we also have a microscope sitting in the foreground right here. Things that you need to realize about it: you do have high power and low power objectives. The state will usually ask you to use the low power objective, which is the smallest of the objectives. They'll have you place a slide on the stage, and again, here's an example of a grid slide, which is commonly used. Place that on the stage like this. You want to line it up, make sure that it's right over the circle and underneath the lens, and then you're going to use these stage clips right here to hold it into place. Next, you look through the ocular. Okay, you can cover one eye or close one eye. You're going to look into the ocular like this, and you're going to use the coarse adjustment, which is the larger of the knobs, to see if you can bring it into focus. And kids will usually try it one way or the other until those lines become nice and crisp. Now, if you find yourself in trouble where you're getting nervous because you can't find it, you definitely want to double check the outside to make sure that you are centered underneath the objective. And you also, what I do when I get nervous if I can't find something, is I'll take it all the way to the top. In other words, bring this coarse adjustment all the way to the point where the stage is the highest, and then I'll slowly bring it down until it is the furthest away it can be. I know that it has to be in focus at some point between its highest and lowest point, and if I go slow enough, I should be able to find that. Now, when you look inside the microscope, you might see something like this. Okay, that is an example of what you might see if you look at this grid slide. And you'll notice that this round area that you have right here would be your field of view. And you can be asked lots of questions about the field of view, the size of the fields of view in terms of squares and things like that. So you just want to be prepared to understand what you're looking at when you look underneath, or when you look at a grid like that. Very often, too, you'll be given another specimen. There's an example of a spider, and you might have to remove the slide and put the spider slide on and then estimate its length or its width or something like that, knowing what you know about the field diameter. So again, you should be familiar with putting a slide on the stage and bringing it into focus. You should be familiar with measuring the distance across the diameter of a field of view, and then be able to take a second specimen slide, place it onto the microscope after removing the other one, and estimating dimensions about that specimen. Hopefully that gave you a hand. If you need any help working with microscopes, I've got a whole bunch of them in the classroom. Feel free to stay after school or come in during a study hall or lunch and be happy to work with you. Thanks. See ya.